This AskReddit user asks, what's one of the dumbest things you've ever spent money on? My quarantine shopping recently led to me purchasing a manatee-shaped tea infuser. As the proud owner of my own manatee infuser, I am offended. It's one of the best things I've ever bought. I bought like a $100 USD Raichu holographic Japanese Team Rocket Pokémon card when I was maybe 8 to 10. Using my allowance for it. I never played Pokémon. Just collected the cards because they looked cool. I still get teased from my family. 15 plus years later. I bought the hats and beards. And my buddy got the church warden pipes. We had monthly hats, beards, and pipes gatherings in Afghanistan. We were bored and would spend about $300 monthly on this ST. First month was Gandalf. Second was Lincoln. Not me, but a distant relative and his wife, both in their 70s, sent a certain African prince several $1,000s to ensure a shipment of 45 kilograms of gold he was receiving. He promised to triple their money once he got it. He gave no reason to why specifically they were chosen for it. They didn't think it was a good idea to tell anyone else about this wonderful opportunity they were getting. As they weds worried we would try to take their money from them. Or get a share of it. When the son of the deposed king of Nigeria emails you directly asking for help. You help. His father ran the freaking country. $10 plus delivery fee for a $6-8 meal. The one and only time I ever used DoorDash. Spent $40 something for 8 pieces of chicken. I ordered the 12% family meal since I'd just got out of the hospital and figured it could be no effort meals for 2 to 3 days. Ended up with no sides, no biscuits, and 2/3 of the chicken. They had the tracking thing showing and everything was running right on time. Until the driver left the store and went north instead of south. Okay. No biggie. Figured they had other deliveries, but then it showed them in the same spot for almost an hour. They came straight from there to my house. Claimed they got lost and couldn't find my house. Claimed the store wouldn't give them the full order. At that time I didn't know the stores didn't know their DD. They are just a customer going through the drive-thru. And told me to call the restaurant for a refund. So like an idiot I call the store and they have no clue what I'm talking about. I try to contact DoorDash but they just did an auto response of here's a $1 credit to your account. Not even back to my credit card. But toward a future order. And when I tried to contact them again I got a pop-up saying the issue had been previously resolved so it wouldn't allow for another complaint. I ended up disputing all but an 8% chicken-only price because by that time I realized it was the driver who screwed me over and not DoorDash or the store. That's the only time I've ever not tipped a delivery driver. I wish you would have been like, bro, I saw you parked in the same spot for an hour, and see what he woulda came up with. My Steam library. 80% unplayed. I was pretty high one night and bought a pool net handle. One of the 16-foot metal ones. In order to turn off the living room lights from the couch. Edit. Added these as a comment but it got buried. Sorry I've been sleeping haha. I'll try and answer all the questions I've seen. Most importantly it does work. It's heavy when fully extended. But there's a rail I can balance it on between me and the light. Takes a bit of practice. I also do remember thinking about getting smart lights but honestly I'm renting this house and it's a wall switch so I didn't want to take it apart to make it smart. For $25. I can't say I regret this one. It sits behind my couch in a little gap so it's not too much of an eyesore. I haven't broken anything yet. Emphasis on yet. I'm sure I will. No, I don't have a pool. Edit 3. I didn't buy smart bulbs. And won't in the future. Because it's 10 bulbs on racks. Cheap. Easy. And I was high. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Does it work? Because I need to know. Buy a Bluetooth connected light switch. Switch it off from your phone. Edit. Oops. A Bluetooth huh? Edit D and this comment blew up. I get home from work, make a silly comment and go to bed and wake up with 1.6k upvotes. My friends and I randomly decided to get into paintballing 1 year. My first visit to a paintball shop. I apparently felt like flexing my brand new I have a job and no bills because I live with my parents' income. So I dropped about $400 on a paintball gun that looked like an AK-47. The way a Nerf pistol looks like a Glock. We did a few practice fights with each other. Then went to a paintball field that weekend. The bell rang. The fight started. I ran out. Aimed at a guy. Gun jammed. And I got shot in the head. Just above the part my mask was covering. That gun never fired again and I ended up replacing it with a cheap Tipman 98 Custom. Which as far as I understand is the vanilla sherbet of paintball guns. It worked. But we stopped paintballing forever after like 2 months. So I guess the second gun was also one of the dumbest things I spent money on. If it broke the first time you used it, why didn't you return it? This year I paid $60 for a Shrek action figure wearing a NASCAR racing suit at a thrift store. The Uber Eats delivery fee for an entire dozen cookies from Great American Cookie. I live less than half a mile away but I was lazy and I wanted those GN cookies at like 10 p.m. They were glorious and I don't want to think about the calories I consumed that night. My therapist was kind enough to let me know about insomnia cookies. I live in one of their delivery area and they deliver fresh cookies until 2 a.m. Now my husband wants to order them all the time. I do too, but I know it's not a good idea. Big wedding. All that money. Could have helped so many problems we had later. Divorced anyway. I once bought my girlfriend a hat and had her name embroidered on it. She asked me if I would ever wear a shirt with my name on it. I would not. This thing Suzanne Somers was pitching on QVC at 3 a.m. 15 years ago to help avoid getting wrinkles on your face. I was up all crazy hours with a newborn at the time, so a bit delirious. It was some electrical impulse mini machine for approximately $150. Suzanne looked fantastic and said she hadn't ever had plastic surgery and had just used this little machine on her face her whole life. I believed it. Spent the money, and when it arrived 3 weeks later I never even took it out of the box to use it. Oddly, this makes me feel better about those infomercials. Like somehow the idea of their target demographic being sleep-deprived new moms is less disturbing than the idea of somebody sitting in their living room, sober as a judge, executing their most sound judgment, thinking, yes, the Joan Rivers collection, yes, it shall be mine. And this is why you don't look like Suzanne Somers. I just sunk around $7,000 in becoming a licensed massage therapist. Had my job a little over a year and was just starting to get pretty solid when suddenly I can no longer touch people or be within 6 feet of them. At least I paid off my student loans in February. My sympathies. Perhaps you need to contact the person who bought that 16-feet net thing to turn off lights in their living room and see if you can hack a 16-feet massage machine. Just an idea. A sword cane with a snake head on it. The blade wasn't sharp and I never used it. Just bought it to essentially look cool. Now I can't find it. Edit. As I read the comments. Let me update. I bought it from a legitimate and legal magazine. I also bought it not only because it looked cool but because I wanted to look cool like Lucius Malfoy's wand cane. I didn't really care that there was a sword in it. Edit 2. Thanks for all the upvotes. I spent about $10 on premium currency for a shitty mobile game one time about 8 to 9 years ago. I still feel ashamed now. Edit. For anyone interested. This is a pretty interesting read regarding the maths and psychology behind free-to-play, premium currency-based mobile games. Link. I was 11 and my dad gave me $50 to spend at the mall. So, I wandered into a gift shop and spent it all on an electronic vibrating oinking pink pig. I never played with it after I brought it home. Tried to return it, only to be offered store credit. You taught your father a valuable lesson in financial responsibility. Haha, that's a great way to put it. My buddy and I decided to saran wrap another friend's car shut. Mind you, this was 1999. Do you have any idea how much saran wrap $37 buys you in 1999? My buddy's parents are still using the leftovers to this day. Priority shipping during COVID quarantine. I just wanted to see if it would arrive, but I'm still waiting on that order I placed in early March. Got drunk and started ordering ninja gear off of Amazon and forgot about it until it showed up like a week later. Swords, nunchucks, a suit and mask. Please send photos. That's hilarious. HL yeah bro. That's awesome. In elementary, a kid called me pale. So I went to Walmart and bought spray tan. My dad thought it was sunblock. My sister knew what it was but didn't say anything cause she was just gonna sit back and watch how this plays out. I went in and out of the bathroom multiple times that day, continuously reapplying before my sister decided it was time to tell my dad. I went through half the can in a day and was more orange than a Oompa Loompa. A piano. Dumb. Stupid. Costly and near worthless. But the ex-wife wanted a real piano for the kids because they would then practice on it. Bullshit. $3,500 for the piano. $4,000 in lessons. All for teaching them to hate playing the piano. You were supposed to buy a used piano from someone who had already made the same mistake. Has nobody noticed the fact there is hundreds of awards on this post? I'm pretty sure a tiny sticker for someone you've never met is the dumbest thing you can spend money on. All the same, here's my poor person award. Boxes. I never saved them and tossed them in recycling. Well, moving time came around and I was in need of many boxes. So I spent more money than I would like to admit of cardboard and bubble wrap. ShamWow. I mean, it's got sham right there in the name. But I wanted to support Vince from ShamWow's crusade against Scientology. Should have bought the jizzle instead. Link. I bought a timeshare. Look, if you're still not comfortable with the numbers, you just double down. You get 2 weeks. Sell that second week. Boom. You're vacationing for free. Okay. So if we buy a second week, and we sell that, we're vacationing for free. What happens if we buy a third week and sell that? We're getting paid to vacation. You got. My family visited Colorado when I was 10 and I saw a statue of a mosquito in a gift shop with the words "State Bird" on the bottom and begged my parents for it. We now have a rather large mosquito statue on our piano. Most expensive dumb thing? A Mercedes 500 SEL. Literally bankrupt myself buying parts and gas for that FG land yacht. Sold it for half what I paid and felt lucky to be rid of it. Dumbest dumb thing? A metallic gold-laden painting of a Pontiac Firebird. It oozes white trash and I had planned on putting it in a family gift exchange as a joke but didn't end up going and got stuck with it. It's currently hanging in a storage room. Like all classy paintings do. Hang it in your garage so all your neighbors see it whenever you open your garage. Hang it in the garage so that the Nissan Versa that replaced the 500 SEL knows its inadequacy. Gifts for my mother. She complains every single time. I bought my parents a new smart TV for Xmas after they'd been compliant about their old one and how much of a hassle it was watching things like Netflix. The TV is still in the box. This makes me think of my dad. He was always very embarrassed and ashamed when I would buy him gifts. He was a very tender-hearted guy and very much a provider for our family. I think it was a combination of his difficulty in figuring out how to deal with feeling so loved and cared for. He also grew up very poor and was very proud of the fact we were a very solid middle-class family and he was such a great provider for us. He really felt that it was his duty to provide for us because he loved us. I was so blessed to have him for a dad because he would take care of us when we were little because my mom worked nights at J.C. Penney's. This was in the early 1960s, so he was way ahead of his time. One time I asked him why he did that when it wasn't acceptable, and he said, "Well, you're my kids too." He died in 2000 and I miss him every single day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.